You know what time it is. It's time for some toy talk, and in today's episode I'm going to be highlighting a bunch of cool stuff that I've added to my collection recently. I haven't done one of these for a while, and I'm off to Doncaster Toy Fair next week, so I thought it were a good time to showcase some of the stuff that I've acquired over the last few weeks. There's also a good variety of bits in this too, so hopefully something for everyone. I know that sometimes if a video isn't specifically Ninja Turtles, or specifically Star Wars, or something that you're specifically into, you might not bother watching it, but I always think it's worth finding out a little bit about other toy lines that might not necessarily always be your thing. You never know when you're going to pick something up cheap that you can flip to buy a toy that you do like, or you might just see something that you've never paid attention to before and discover your new favourite toy line. You never know.
Open your mind.
Now last week you might have seen that we went toy hunting at Stafford Toy Fair, checking it out for the first time ever, and one of the things that I couldn't leave without coming home with was a Shire figure from the Revell Powerload series. I've been trying to complete a set of these for a long time as well, but they're just really not a popular line. You don't see them around that often, especially complete, and I do already have this figure, but I didn't have her with any of her accessories, so I was buzzing to add her to my collection. Now all the characters from the first wave of the Powerloads were designed by a very cool old school sci-fi artist called Wayne Barlow, and the way that he creates ideas for creatures and aliens is just second to none in my opinion. Very underrated dude, and his style is just so perfectly suited to action figures. What I also thought made these figures really cool is that the humanoid looking characters can spin round to reveal these weird alien subforms. A form that I obviously prefer because I love that freaky alien shit, and in terms of 80s unique sci-fi adventure themed action figures, the Powerloads for me were definitely a standout release and one that really doesn't get talked about too often. Now eventually I do want to do a whole video on this line, like a real in-depth video essay, so like I said, I've been slowly gathering them for years, and one piece that's always eluded me ever since I first saw it like 15 years ago was this thing, the Spyzo. So the Spyzo to me is the perfect representation of everything that makes the Powerloads awesome. I always thought that this line was great, but when I saw one of their vehicles was a weird bioorganic snail jet ski, I had more respect for them than ever, and ever since then I always tried to keep a lookout for one. Now this was a very recent pickup, and I managed to snag it off eBay of all places, paying a fraction of what I've seen them go for in the past, like way less, so to get one in such good condition with both of its battery covers intact and both of its projectiles was incredible. Luckily for me, this was one of them auctions that ended at like 2 PM on a weekday, so I don't think that there were that much competition in terms of other people bidding against me, so I'm really happy to now finally own one after all this time. It definitely feels good to not only add another piece to the Powerloads puzzle, but also put me one step closer to that big video essay episode that I want to do at some point. Evil alien dictator Arcus also approves.
Strange space.
There's two types of collector. Strange space, square space. Square space is like your Buck Rogers, your typical sort of lockjawed action heroes and your conventional spaceships and shit. Strange space is weird things with frogs on their heads and like space caterpillars and monkeys and all that kind of crap.
Now as well as opening my brain to a whole new way of categorising vintage space toys, the Ancient Mariner also recently let me have a good dig through one of his private storage locations, and if you watched that episode you'll have seen just how much stuff we found that day. And one of the things that we came across, which I kind of regretted not picking up at the time, were a bag of very tired and neglected Medicom Kamen Rider figures. Now I mentioned in the end of that video that he was going to send them me, something that he very kindly did a week later, so this is what I ended up with. As you can see, the suit that's on this Kamen Rider currently is all deteriorating and flaking off in my hands. It's made from a material that just hasn't stood the test of time, which is weird because these things are only like 15 years old or something. So what I did is switch it round with another Kamen Rider suit that was in the bag, but this one is a little bit big. It's for a 12-inch figure and this one's an 8-inch Mego size, so it is a little bit baggy on him. He's also missing one of his antennas as well, so that's something that I'm going to have to make for him at some point. The suit on the human bat is in real nice condition though, it just needs some velcro reattaching on the back of it, and in terms of what he's missing, he's supposed to have a pair of black boots and a knife around his leg, so what I'm going to do when I've got some free time is go through this big box of Mego spares that I've got, try and find Man-Bat some boots, maybe find Ryder a new overall and then make some replicas of the parts that they're both missing. Now this is probably not something that I'll bother making a video on because it's not that much work, so there wouldn't be that much to document, but if you're interested in seeing them finished, I'll be posting pictures of them both on my Instagram when they're done, so make sure you follow me on there if you don't already. So if you've been following any of my little toy hunting side focuses at the minute, you'll know that I've been slowly picking up characters from the Kenner, Robocop and the Ultra Force line. These figures are usually nice and cheap to find, they've got some really interesting designs and I'm fully digging them right now. So you can imagine how gassed I was when I got speaking to fellow toy enthusiast Toy Crusader, and he said that he had pretty much a full wave of them all loose and all complete that I could grab off him. Now I'm still undecided on what I want to do with this line. I could go down the route of the video essay, but something about them also makes me want to make some kind of mini movie out of them using the diorama that I built for the Resident Evil video. So who knows, but until I do, I'll sleep better at night knowing that I've pretty much got the whole line ready to go when I am. So obviously I want to say a massive big ups to Toy Crusader, and also make sure that you go and check him out on Instagram if there's anything that you're after at the minute, because chances are if he has got something that you want, he'll hook you up with a wicked deal on it. Now a couple of weeks ago I put out a video where I rearranged my main toy collection room, and while I was on a tidying up vibe and I had the time to do it, I also decided to spruce up and rejig my downstairs dining room display. Now these shelves are full of lots of cool pieces that I've collected from around the world, lots of awesome colourful bits, a bunch of my most prized possessions and one-offs, and it's also the place where I keep most of my Sofubi. Now I did spend a whole evening dusting these shelves and arranging the toys in them, but it looks like I'm going to have to mess around with them even more, as recently I was sent a couple of really generous gifts by some very awesome Sofubi creators. So the first ones that I want to show you are these two from RX Nemesis, a company who work very closely with my good friend Tokyo Toy Banzai. Now these are obviously both very Star Wars inspired, the pink one even being a collaboration with the legendary Super Sucklord, a homage to his Gay Empire pink Stormtrooper, which is obviously awesome. If you've followed my channel for a while, you'll know that myself and Tokyo Toy Banzai, formerly the Tokyo Toy Bastard, are very good friends, so it really means a lot to have a couple of pieces in my collection that he had a hand in creating. Now this dude, the Dark Invader Nemesis, also came with a lightsaber looking laser sword, but when I tidied up my office last week I ended up putting it somewhere safe and I can't for the life of me remember where I stashed it. So unfortunately I wasn't able to show it off in this video, but even with just the pistol blaster, he's obviously still very menacing looking. I love that Casey Jones / Mazinga Z looking grill mouth, and with the yellow eyes and the brain sticking out the back of his head, pure space opera supervillain vibes. Now these figures also come with a couple of graphic novels that help tell the stories of the characters that they create at RX Nemesis, characters that these two Sofubi are actually takes on, and as you can see just from these shots, they're books that are crammed with artwork and strips that are very beautiful and very impressive. What was also nice of them is that they actually sent me 2 of these, so I thought it'd be cool to give one away to you lot. These are artist proofs as well, the test copies that get made up before they get the official sign off to go to print. You can't buy these ones, there was only 100 of them made, so whoever ends up getting them will be adding something to their collection that's very limited. So make sure you stick around to the end of the video to find out how you can be in with a chance of being the winner. Now the other Sofubi that I wanted to show you literally come yesterday, just in time for me to add it into this video. This one's from a company called Mosa Toys, and it truly is a sight to behold. Everything from the header card to the paint job on the figure is bright and colourful, and in my opinion, it's everything that you could ever want to get out of a gnarly designer Sofubi piece. I also love how it's 2 figures in one with a reversible body and 2 faces, which is actually, come to think of it again, very power loads.
Strange space.
The company branding from Mosa is also very unique. From the very first message that I received from them to the letter inside the box when the toy arrived, they've always communicated with me from the point of view of an alien from a distant planet that wanted to come and live with me. Like, they've never broken character once, which in itself just makes the whole product so much more fun. So the next things that I want to show you are completely different. As you might already know because I've banged on about this loads recently, at the minute I'm getting deep into toy making, sculpting and creating my own action figures and minis. I'm going to talk about it way more in a future episode, but I thought you might like to see these little custom keshes I made for a private commission before I send them off to the customer. So apart from one of these that is an original character, they're all based on various cult IPs, mostly Japanese and Asian, and these were all made for a client who wanted them designed in a Japanese chibi finger puppet style. Basically this kind of thing, little squashed gachapon style toys that if you're even remotely into Japanese toys you will have seen 1,000 times. Now I'm used to working in a much more true to life scale with a lot more refined detail, so I designed a style for the client that kind of blended the two, one which he was very happy with, I then also took some of my favourite ones like the Guyver and resculpted them into a more muscle figure style. So all these coloured ones are going to be posted off to him later today, and before I did that, I just thought I'd show you them because if you're anything like me, you love seeing that exclusive shit. Now these are just prototypes. If I was to make any of these and mass produce them, the bodies would sit a lot flatter to the ground and would be made from an actual durable material, not 3D printed resin like these are. But I just wanted to show you some of the stuff that I've been working on at the minute, some smaller Kinkeshi style bits, and give you a bit of a taste of some of the stuff that you'll be seeing more of from me in the future. So if you've watched any of my videos before on Warhammer or other similar miniatures, not that there's that many of them, you'll know that I've got stacks of old hammer and mid hammer, either stuff that was mine as a kid that I've since stripped or stuff that people have donated to me. But I've got lots of it, and I love Warhammer. I don't find the time to work on it nowhere near as much as I would like to, but it's something that really does fill me with joy whenever I do get the chance to do it. And I've experimented with stuff on the channel before, with painting videos and things, but there's thousands of people on YouTube already that are way better at that than me. So in the back of my mind, I didn't really want to do any more until I figured out a way to create videos on Warhammer that were very unique to my Slimehouse style. The thing is though, like I said, I love Warhammer, and I'm always itching to do it, and tying it into videos for Slimehouse is a great way of justifying the time it takes to paint and customize them. So although I'm still not sure what direction I'll go in overall, I found something recently at a jumble trail around my local area that instantly gave me a video idea. So this is just an old deep set frame that I found for £1, and I figured if I sprayed it black, I could create something inside it that I've wanted to do for ages, one of these old school diorama displays. So this is one that I saw in an old issue of White Dwarf years ago, and I saved the page because I knew at some point I wanted to try and create one myself. I always thought this looked like some kind of old school side-scrolling 16-bit shooter, like something from Turrican or Metroid, very old school and very Slimehouse. So that's something that I'm definitely going to look at making at some point soon because honestly, the amount of miniatures that I've got that could be utilised for something better has grown so much more in the last year. I've even been given loads by my friend who sent me his whole collection, about 9 boxes, that are still in storage because I've not even had a chance to look in them yet. I did check out these though, which were just in a separate little carry case that he sent amongst all of the big boxes. A nice bunch of real professional painted stuff that he'd had commissioned, both Warhammer and some independent stuff as well. So if these are anything to go by, then it's safe to say that there's a bunch of miniatures in this haul that are all going to look very nice when they're displayed in some kind of diorama. I also wanted to show you this quickly before I wrap the video up as well. Now if you know me, you know that me and my crew enjoy a spot of Hero Quest, and I've had my eye on this expansion pack for a while now. I'm not too into all the expansion packs that they do for Hero Quest, because some of them don't have any new models and stuff, but this one's full of new characters and creatures, so when I saw that Kapow Toys had them at 50% off, you know that I had to get involved with that. And there's so much about this set that makes it wicked. I love that it's frozen horror, so it's like you're adventuring in a whole new different environment. It's got new dice and doors and enemies, including all of these mercenaries, some snow monsters, and this guy who's absolutely massive, like Warhammer Greater Demon size, so in many ways it was worth it just for him. It also comes with a female barbarian hero too, which my girl Roxy is buzzing about because that's the class that she likes to play. So overall, just very happy with this thing. Wanted to shout out Kapow Toys for doing a 50% off. It's not a sponsored video or anything like that, I just thought it was mint. And yeah man, another really nice thing that I added to the collection recently. So I'm going to wrap it up there. There's still a bunch of stuff that I've not had a chance to get to and I'll have to show in a future episode, but I just wanted to make sure that I highlighted some of the standout pieces that I've picked up recently and stuff that have been sent. It really does mean a lot when people pass me something because they think that I'll like it or they want to add something dope to my collection. I live for this shit, so I don't say it lightly. I really do appreciate it every single time. I'd love to know if you lot watching got anything cool in recently, anything you want to talk to me about or show me. You can either chop it up in the comments below or you can tag me in it on Instagram. As I also said earlier, I'm going to be giving away that other RX Nemesis graphic novel. So I'm not going to do anything elaborate, just make sure you comment on this video down below, let me know your favourite toy that was featured in today's episode and I'll pick one of you at random and get it sent out to you. I'm almost at 10k subs as well on this channel, so if you're not already, please consider subscribing. I'm no doubt going to do something cool when I hit that benchmark, and it's something that I'm really excited for. So if you do want to help me get there, please make sure that you hit that subscribe button because again, I really do appreciate it. I've also got a Patreon if you want to support me on there. I'm currently doing something massive as well behind the scenes here at Slimehouse. I'm not announcing it yet, but the Slime Alliance members know all about it, so if you want to find out a bit more about what's going on and see a bunch of exclusive behind the scenes content as well, then that's the place to head over to. I want to shout out a couple of the new Patreon supporters as well. Brad Burt, shouts to you joining the Slime Renegades. I want to shout out Mega Damic, joining the Team Z tier, watching Dragon Ball Z episodes with me every single Saturday. And I also want to say a massive big ups to Joseph Guire, joining the Slime Alliance tier. Much respect to you and to everyone else that has enough faith in what I'm doing to want to join my Patreon. I also want to say large up to Moon Boots, who sent a very generous donation last week. That's also an option you can do. There's a link in the description below if you want to donate a little something towards Slimehouse and future projects and don't want to commit to the Patreon. And overall, I just want to say a big thank you to everybody that continues to back Slimehouse with their donations and their support. You lot are the reason that I'm able to keep doing this and the reason that we can keep this channel and this community growing from strength to strength. So that's it for today, I'm going to leave it there. Make sure you come back for next week's episode, which is going to be another Doncaster Racecourse Toy Fair hunt, which are always awesome. So until next time, I'm Theo Kane, this is Slimehouse TV, and I'm gone. Pow.